Happy Christmas and welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole.
I'm Vanessa. And yes, Merry Christmas.
Yay.
It's Christmas week.
Yes, I had to look it up. So
you don't just have that readily available in your notes?
No. When I was waiting for you to
you're
log
not
on,
a freak, like pre-plan, like 2 months in advance? Oh, just me? Cool.
Yes, just you. Yeah, when I was waiting
Fair.
for you to log on, I was like, well, I have my calendar right here. Let's take a peeky. And I was like, this is our Christmas episode.
I clearly have been planning for this because in my notes, it's printed, not written. So, which means I was very prepared for this.
Nice. So if I wouldn't have caught it, you would have caught it,
Yep,
definitely.
it's my first note on here that it's
nice.
Christmas week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, in all fairness, it's been Christmas, like I know we said a couple weeks ago, it's been Christmas in my house a lot longer than normal. So my sense of reality is beyond
normal for you, but I think my Christmas went up like even a week or so before yours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, it's been Christmas for a long time for both of us.
Yes.
It's fun. And then I wore my new Christmas sweater. It's the Cozy Readers Club with the cute little truck. I'm going to put a picture of it on the Instagrams because it's too cute to not.
It does look adorable. I am wearing my protest black sweater. So
what are we protesting? Work?
I don't know. But back when we were protesting work and I bought all of my black clothes.
Yes.
This is just one of my black sweaters. So
yes. Back at sometime last year, whatever, we were on Thursdays we wear black because we were protesting work, and now we just have a surplus of black clothes.
Right. So, and I thought about dressing in a holiday sweater today. I don't have a lot of them, but I thought about it because our work Christmas party was today. And instead, as I was getting dressed, I was just like, no, today is all black day.
You wanted to be grumpy.
And once somebody at work brought it up, they were like, Nicole, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm the Grinch. So,
well, get it together. Okay, fine. We did take a picture in front of a Christmas tree today, though. So basically, I forced you to be merry.
I ungrinched enough to take my picture in front of a tree. Tea.
Oh, it's fine. Yes. How are you doing? I know we just saw each other at work and we just hung out, but I haven't seen you. Today was the first time in like a week and a half. So no. Longer than that? No.
It's been a while.
About a week and a half.
Well, it was all this week, which is a half week, and then all the week before.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I didn't go in at all last week.
Yes, because that's the first note. I'm like, Vanessa left me.
I did, because I was avoiding, because I just went to see my family in California, and I was terrified that I was going to get sick. And so I refused to go into the office because I was not going to let one person breathe on me.
But then you ended up having to go into the office.
Yeah, I did.
And then I missed you because I was away from my desk. So.
Yes. So yes, it's been like a week and a half or 2 weeks.
I know. You left me alone to die.
I'm sorry. Well, listen, you're about to leave me for like ever, so it's okay.
Okay.
I'm very sad. Although, this last like 2 weeks of not seeing you has made me realize how dependent I am on you.
Ditto.
And I don't know what I'm going to do when you're not here.
Well, I mean, I've been trying to send you houses and convince your phone that you need to find a house next to us.
You've already convinced it. I
know.
Now I just get the notifications all the time like, you want to look at houses here, right? Look at this newly available house that's 10 minutes from Nicole's new house.
Right. Like as soon as you walk away from your phone, I pick it up and I go, houses in this area, houses in this area, houses in this area. And then
It's listening.
it knows.
Yes. We'll see how long I last after you leave, before I'm just like, Tim, guess where we're moving?
Buy all the sweaters.
That's right. Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, what did you do while I was gone?
I don't really remember doing anything last week.
All right.
I know, well, I mean, during the week I just worked and did normal like post-work things, like sit on the couch and watch Mike watch TV while I read. But
okay.
Yeah, but I did go up over the weekend and visit my sister. And we hung out for a little bit, a couple days. So that was nice. I mean,
Did you ask her about Wicked?
No.
You didn't? Oh,
I chickened out. I was afraid that if I asked her about it, she'd be like, wait a second, you haven't read it yet?
Yeah, you were supposed to read that.
Right.
Dang it.
So I did not ask. I chickened out. I was too scared.
Okay.
But we did go to we had to go to a Target that was like 30-40 minutes away because she's never been to that one before, and I air quoted, or I'm throwing up the finger quotes there, and we argued like the whole way there. I was like, Kim, we've been to this Target before, and she's like, no, we haven't. Surprise, I was right. We were like,
but why is this Target so special? Was it?
I think it's a bigger one.
Okay.
Like a super Target or something.
Target? Okay.
Yeah. So we walked in and we got down like the first like aisle, if you want to call it that. And she like turned and looked at me. She goes, I think we've been here before. And I was like, yes.
Oh, you mean like I told you?
Yes. So you're telling me I'm right?
Yeah.
Right?
How was so Tim went to Target the day that I left for California, and he texted me and was like, I'm pretty sure everyone that lives in this town is in this Target right now. So did you have the same experience?
Yeah, it was pretty busy. There's a lot of people just everywhere. I don't know what they were doing there, but
I mean, well, it's holiday shopping. I feel like everybody's out. Yeah. And December is not the time to go shopping.
No. It was probably the longest I've ever had to wait in the self-checkout line.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, still was only like 10 minutes, but I was still very surprised.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, we went to the Barnes & Noble. That's right down the road. But I actually bought 0 books.
Not time 0? It was
a
just
real
zero.
True 0. Yeah.
All right.
So I went there specifically looking for one book, and they didn't have it. So
did you add any to the TBR though that you found while you were there?
Yeah, I think I added like 1 or 2 to the TBR. So
that's good.
I demonstrated self-control.
Yes, I think that's still a good outing to the bookstore though, because you still found something that you want to read.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good.
And then we went and got Mediterranean food for dinner, which is pretty good. I enjoy hummus very much, and I like trying new restaurants' hummus and judging it. And this place had pretty good hummus. So. A-
A- on the hummus. Okay.
But afterwards was where the real snacky show started. Okay. On the way, because we were like, she was like, do you want to go get boba tea? And I was like, I don't think anywhere around here has boba. I think the only boba shop closed. And so she like Googled it, and she's like, shit, it did. Oh. But on the way to her house, we found a gelato store.
Okay.
So we stopped and got
shop.
Yes. Okay. Like whatever you call a gelato establishment.
All right.
So we stopped and got gelato. I got pistachio. And
so good.
It was delicious.
All right. Is that your snack this week?
That is 1000% my snack.
Great. Like a big, massive bowl of gelato.
Yeah, there was so much gelato that I was holding the cup because I don't know if they put them in cones or whatever, but I was holding the cup and I was eating it like an ice cream cone out of the cup while I was driving, and then we got to the point where I couldn't do that anymore, and so I was just driving sad because I wanted to eat more gelato and I couldn't. So.
Dang it. Excellent though.
So yeah, but how about you?
I haven't had gelato in a long time. I'm good. I have been in California for the last week or whatever. I just got home last night. And I'm tired, for one.
Yeah.
And also, I had two reactions to being back home. One, I miss the weather. It was so beautiful. And then I came back to like snowy, windy conditions where I almost slipped on the sidewalk walking to my car from the airport. And two, I don't miss how shitty it is out there in my old the old hometown. It's just a shithole. Like I don't miss that part of it. So at least there was some negatives that made me feel like I wanted to come back home, you know?
Right. Well, plus, your puppies are here, and your house is here, and I guess Tim is here. So
fine, Tim is here. But yeah, I got to see my family and stuff before, like in between the holidays, since we won't be able to see them for Christmas and all that. So it was fun, a good time. My mom fed me a lot of food, and I'm going to use one of her things that she made us as my snack this week, which is Jell-O cake.
Oh,
have you had Jell-O cake before?
I've had a type of Jell-O cake.
Okay. So it's not Jell-O. It's not like a gelatinous cake.
Okay.
It's a like a white cake, and then you poke holes in the top of it and you pour Jell-O, like the liquid, like before you make the Jell-O, you like just the powder with the water, and then you pour it over the top, and it just like soaks into the white cake. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious.
Do you then put it into like the fridge?
Yes, but it doesn't. It never gets to a Jell-O consistency. The flavoring just soaks into the cake.
Oh my goodness.
You've never had it? I'm making it.
No.
I'm going to make you some.
Tomorrow?
Maybe.
No, not tomorrow.
I'll get on Instacart tonight.
That's funny.
Oh, I can't believe you never. Okay, yes. So that's
Is there like
Jell-O
a frosting on it or anything?
Usually just put Cool Whip.
Oh, that's delicious too.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. All right. I'm making it. We're having Jell-O cake.
I'm so excited.
Yes. But my mom made some, and yeah, that's that. So that's what I had.
And
what else happened?
I was gonna say nobody can see you because we're not to that point yet. But I can see you.
And I had a midlife crisis and cut bangs. Yes. So honestly, we are currently 2 months from my 40th birthday, and I was like having a moment of having a midlife crisis, and I was like, do I want bangs for my 40th birthday? And then I was like, well, I'm going on a trip for my birthday, and what if I hate them? I don't want to be on the trip with brand new bangs. So I decided to do them now because then I still have 2 months to grow them out if I hate them for my birthday trip. This was my logic.
Sound logic.
So here we are.
And you're feeling how about them today?
I think I told you I was at 80% today, 80% liking them. I think I might be at 75% right now.
Oh.
Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah. I the one thing that I hated having bangs when I was younger is like I felt like I was more sweaty as a child or something, but my bangs always looked greasy. I could never get my bangs to not look like they were greasy. And I must have just been like a dirty child or something. So
so this week I was at my parents' house. I made my mom pull out all of her old pictures because I was like looking for some specific things. But in looking at all these pictures, I'm gonna say like 60% of my life I've had bangs.
Wow.
Maybe not that high, but I have pretty much my entire childhood up until I was probably like 15, 14, something like that. I had bangs, and then I've only had them probably twice in my adulthood. But yeah, like the first 13 years of my life, I had bangs.
I'm gonna look and I'll talk to my mom and see if she has a picture of me as a youngster with bangs. But I also need to find a picture of when she decided I needed a perm. So I think I don't know how old I was. Probably 7.
Okay. Wow. For a perm.
But I had like the tight curl perm, so I had just like a bush of hair. It's like curly. So I'm gonna text her after this and see if she has any of those pictures, and I'll
whatever age you are in your bang picture, I'll find a picture of me at the same age and we'll put it as like a side by side on Instagram.
All right.
I'm so excited. Yes. So yeah, also I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I need everybody to know what's coming because at my parents' house, my mom had a treasure trove of Twilight memorabilia, and I am giddy.
I am so excited for you to talk about this.
Yes. So I think I'm going to wait until we record the next bonus bite. So in bonus bites number 4, I think we'll talk about it all, unless I just can't wait and we do it earlier. But I took pictures of everything. I annotated everything. I can't wait to share the amount of shit that my mom has. And some of the things that she said. Oh, good gracious, I can't wait.
I am super excited. When you came in this morning and you gave me that Twilight invitation, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, because part of
the iceberg.
Yes, part of the treasure trove was a box of like kid birthday invitations that had from Eclipse. So I was like, I have to invite you over with this invite.
And I am going to make that into a bookmark.
As it should be.
I have to. I'm gonna pull out my laminator after this and laminate that into a bookmark.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. So that is definitely something that is going to be discussed. I'm beyond happy about it.
Yes. So just in case you are all curious about that episode now, that one comes out at the end of
February 1st.
I was gonna say the end of January, which is technically February 1st too.
You were there.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
You're really the planner. I'm the person looking at it being, what did Vanessa tell me is important?
Yes, exactly. Yes, February 1st, that will come out, and so you will hear all about it, and I will be posting all over social media about it. Because it needs to be shared with the world.
I agree.
Yes. So that's all that. I do have one random thought I wanted to share with you before we get into books.
Okay.
It is book related. So I was talking to my sister while I was there this weekend, and we were talking about like ratings and stuff like that. And in that conversation, I realized that you have said something before that makes me want to have this conversation. So I, in the past, have rated something like 2.5, right? And you say that's very middle of the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's not.
Okay.
So I think our thought processes are, you say 2.5 is middle of the road because if you divide 5 by 2, right, it's 2.5. But for me, 3 is in the middle because I go, there's 1 and 2 on this side of 3 and 4 and 5 on this side of 3.
Yes. So you're thinking of the little stars.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I always say, like, to me, a 3 is in the middle. A 2.5 means it's much lower. Like it's lower to me. So I feel like I needed 1 to confirm that we had different viewpoints of this. And 2, for everybody to understand that, so that if I rate something 2.5, it's different than if you rate something 2.5.
Yeah, I've thought about that. And when I'm rating, sometimes I even think that way. I even think about that. I'm like, should I rate it like more closer to 3? Because that's like half if you go by like stars.
Yes.
So I don't know. Sometimes I take that into account.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about something. I don't know, it was a recent book or something that I had rated 2.5, and I remember you saying that, and I was like, wait a second, I don't know what happened. Something just clicked in my brain when I was talking about it, and it was like, no, 2.5 on that book did not mean halfway. It meant suckier than halfway.
It meant I hated it.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to have a little clarification. So that was all. The end.
Well, that's fine. I was going to text you about this, but then I was like, it's kind of bookish related. I'll just bring it up.
Okay.
Me and Mike are old people, and every night we watch Wheel of Fortune.
I was just going to say, I hope it's Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy at 8 and 8:30.
It is. So, but for everybody who doesn't watch those things, you might not be aware that the new Wheel of Fortune host is Ryan Seacrest.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, and he said something 2 days ago, or it would have been 2 episodes ago, I guess. I don't know. That made me, I was like, oh, you're dead to me, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, no.
So they were, I don't know. It was like one of those puzzles that was like things to do or whatever. Okay. And they were guessing or whatever. And the girl thought it was like reading a book. And it turned out to be something else, something close. But he was like, oh, who would want to read a book? And I was like, oh,
Ryan.
I looked at Mike and I was like, turn the shit off. And he was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I can't believe Ryan said that.
To be fair, Ryan Seacrest has like 12,000 jobs, so he doesn't really have time to read a book. But still, he lost a tiny bit of respect.
I know. So, Ryan Seacrest, if you're listening to this podcast, which you're probably not because books suck, like, you ever hear this podcast, me and you
have problems? Yes.
We need to speak. We need to have a conversation. I was going to say we're going to fight, but I don't really want to fight him. No. He'd probably beat my ass. So
he might, or he has an entourage that will.
Right.
I would be afraid of his bodyguard.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so you're not going to fight him, but you will have words. Okay, great.
I throw a book at him. Read this.
That's a great thing to do. You should definitely do that. Do you want me to get tickets to American Idol just so you could throw a book at him?
Oh man. Yes and no. I don't want to lose my job or anything like that, but at the same time,
yes.
On the front it says like, don't talk shit about books. He's like, what are you talking about? Episode 1,100,000, like whatever.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Are you ready for books now?
Yes.
Okay. Me or you?
I don't care. How many books do you have?
2.
You have 2?
Yes.
Yes, I'm excited. You go.
Okay, me. So I read a lot this past week because
Nice.
I realized I might have a superpower because my dad was watching TV like the whole time I was there, and I was just chilling on the couch reading my book, able to tune it out, and then anytime something like funny happened or interesting, or like my dad was like made a comment about it, I was able to immediately be like, oh yeah, and talk to him about whatever happened on the show, and then I went back to reading.
Wow.
So I think I have a superpower.
So are you gonna was that last week's conversation?
It was
topic? So are you gonna revise last week's conversational bit, like be like, I like to read with background noise now, or just say no, I just don't want to still.
Exactly, yes, I am capable, but I still don't choose it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So all that to say is that I did finish one at my parents' house. I'm not going to talk about that one today. I'm going to save that one because it's Christmas and I was traveling all day yesterday and I finished 2 Christmas books. And
wow.
So I want to talk about my Christmas books because it's Christmas.
As you should.
Okay, so I read, there's it's a little like multi-author series. And so there's 5 books in this like little Christmas romance rom-com series. It's called the Gift Wrapped Romance series, and all 5 books are written by different authors, following different characters. Like I think there's some crossover within, like you might see a character here or there that are the same or whatever, but mostly like you can read them in any order. You don't have to read all of them. Like it's just little whatever. So I read 2 within that little series.
And you said there's 5?
There's 5. Okay. Yeah. And so what I did is I just kind of picked out the 2 that sounded the most like with the tropes that I liked, or, you know, whatever. Okay. And so all 5 of them are on Kindle Unlimited. So if anybody wants them, and they are all closed door romances. So like you don't get spicy descriptions, like you barely get even like kissing descriptions. Like it's very just like sweet romance.
I gotcha.
So the first one I read is called Solo for the Season. It was 198 pages. So they're all like little novella type, whatever. So this one is called Solo for the Season. Like I said, it follows Maggie and Wes, and it's a dual point of view. So every other chapter is the other person. So last Christmas, Maggie's boyfriend dumped her on Christmas Day. And so basically, yes, it was like her first Christmas with a boyfriend, and she went to go like spend it with his family, and he broke up with her on Christmas Day. And
before they went to the family, or like while they were
at the family?
Oh no, it's worse.
Yes.
Why?
Because he was a dick. So so basically, like, to take matters into her own hands and like make sure no one else has control over her Christmas joy, she immediately booked a like getaway for the following Christmas at this resort. So it's like a 2-week vacation over Christmas break. She was like, my family is going to be out of town, so I'm just going to go spend 2 weeks by myself at this ski resort cabin. The cabin that she picked is like a special cabin at the resort, and it's called Santa's Haven, and it's basically like if Christmas threw up on this house. So it's literally like everything Christmas. So she basically wants to spend 2 weeks in this cabin just like reading romance novels and watching Hallmark Christmas movies and just like living her best life. Okay. So the cabin, as I mentioned, is like a little eccentric and it has its issues. So when the assistant manager / maintenance guy comes by the cabin, it just so happens to be Wes, our other character, who is her former crush from junior high, that they haven't seen each other since then. So it's been like 10 something years. So her former crush and former bully. So they have, it's a moment. So currently Wes is working to kind of prove to his boss of his capability to take over the resort because he's getting ready to retire next year. So he's basically like doing everything he can to show that like he can handle the job, he can do whatever, he's going to take over managing this whole resort. And in that, he has to follow one rule of maintaining professionalism with the guests.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And obviously that's harder to do with one particular guest.
Oh.
Maybe you can guess who it is.
Maybe.
So the whole book takes place over that 2-week span of like her being at the cabin, and then it ends with a 1-year jump ahead epilogue. So you kind of get like what happens afterwards. So that's the whole story. That's the whole thing. It's exactly what you think it is, right? Like it's just cute and like a little rom-com and very Hallmark in a book kind of thing. It's very, very cute for what it is. I feel very weird giving a book like this 5 stars, but I'm going to give it 5 stars, or 5 pieces of Jell-O cake, because it was just kind of adorable. Like both of the characters were very likable. Even like their banter was like super cute. I didn't really have any points of where I was like, this is stupid. Like it was just cute, and it was exactly what you expect from it. So it's not like I'm not upset that it was predictable. I'm not upset that like any of that. It was just really, really cute. I was like happy during the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you said like you compared it to like a Hallmark movie, and what like everybody knows that most Christmas Hallmark movies are like,
you know what's gonna happen.
You know what's gonna happen, and you know it's gonna be cheesy or corny or whatever. Exactly. But people love them.
It's just a way to like have some happiness and Christmas joy at the holiday season. Exactly. So, and also the series is called the Gift Wrapped Romance series. So kind of every story is like, you know, tied up with a bow. You know? So it's super cute. This one, the I would say the tropes are definitely like forced proximity, kind of second chance-ish. There might be more in there, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about that one. So super cute. I would absolutely recommend that one for just like a cute little thing. Like I said, it's only 198 pages, so it's like super quick if you want to just read a little whatever. So loved that one. The second one I read, I didn't even say that one is by Martha Keyes, is the author of that one. The second one I read is called Cabin Crush, and it's by Kasey Stockton. And like I said before, sweet romance on Kindle Unlimited. This one is 190 pages, so kind of the same whatever. But the tropes in this one are slow burn, forced proximity, and brother's best friend. So that's that one. So this one, follows Rachel and Max, and it's also dual point of view. So Rachel has always had a crush on her brother's best friend, Max. They're in age. They are, him and her brother are, so let's say at the time, seniors, and she was a junior.
Oh, okay.
So they're about a year to 2 years difference, like age difference. Once at a Christmas party when they were in high school, they kissed under the mistletoe, and it ended up being humiliating.
Oh.
So right afterwards, basically they like pretended nothing happened. They continued being friends, but like they were just like never talked about it again.
Right.
Tried to ignore it forever. And also they kind of had to keep things like good even after all that happened, because their families are actually best friends, and every Christmas they spend together at a cabin that their families own together. So it's like a cabin in Colorado, and they go out there every year for Christmas and spend the time together. Normally Max has always had a girlfriend. The girlfriends never go on the Christmas vacation, but obviously he's always had one. So Rachel and Max have they've always been very platonic. Like, if for no other reason, it's because he's always taken.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This Christmas, Max is single. Yes. And on the drive out to the cabin, Max tells her a secret about him moving away and the fact that he's afraid to tell his parents because he doesn't want to ruin Christmas. And so when they get to the cabin, Rachel's kind of acting weird with him, and he believes it's because of the secret. And he thinks that she's like, you know, feels weird that she has to keep this secret from his family. And so he's noticing that she's like watching him and like maybe flirting with him, also maybe avoiding him a little bit in situations. So he's like paying attention to that. Also, her brother makes it very clear that she is off limits. And Max is like, the brother is like, no, man, that's my brother. Like, don't look at her, whatever. Max thinks this is fine because, like, you know, in high school we had that kiss and everything turned out horribly. So obviously I shouldn't kiss her again, right?
But because you put it in my head.
That's right. Now all of a sudden. So that's kind of the story of this one. It's like it follows the like week or two that they're at the cabin. That's where we get like the forced proximity. They're like stuck together and just all that. So this one was really cute. I really liked the family dynamic. I thought it was super cute. Like, you get to see a little bit of like their parents' interactions and stuff, and I thought that was really cute. I definitely didn't like this one as much as the other one, and it has a lot to do with the amount of miscommunication in this story. It's more of one of those ones where if like you guys were just honest for like 2.7 seconds, none of this would have happened, or like a lot of this would have been very different.
Right.
So it was really cute. I still gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I still really enjoyed it. It's still very cute. I enjoyed reading about Rachel and Max. And they're both mostly likable. I think I liked Maggie and Wes a little bit better, but yeah, still 3.5. It's only 190 pages, so again, super fast. I read both of them in a day. So to be fair, I did have nothing else to do other than sit in a waiting area and in a plane, so I kind of had it to my benefit, but they're just very cute. I really liked them.
That's cool.
Yes. So those are my 2 books this week. Merry Christmas.
Nice. I too, on like Sunday, was like, I had my 2 books already. And so I was like, I'll just start another book for get ahead for this week or whatever that we're already in. And then I was like, wait a second. I read so many Halloween themed books.
You did.
I made like the whole month of October Halloween themed books. And I was sitting there, I was like, have I even read one Christmas book?
No.
And so I had a panic moment, and I was like, I have to read a Christmas book. So I did.
Yay.
And I went in there and blindly picked the first Christmas book on Kindle Unlimited that I could find.
Okay.
And it was called Holiday Romance.
Very hidden
yes.
What is the word I'm looking for? Hidden something.
Yes. It will remain that way
That's
too
right.
until you remember. So this one is called Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh, and I quickly read it on my phone because I think it is also another one that's has a lower page count. Yeah, because it's just like a quick little romance read. So this book, I think there's actually 2 books, but I think it, like what you were saying, the second book is a different couple. I didn't even look at the second book or anything like that. I was just like, must get Christmas read.
Okay.
So this book is about the couple. Their names are Molly and Andrew. And for the last 10 years, they have met up and sat together on their flights home to Ireland so they can go home and visit their families for Christmas. So they get this
cute.
Yeah, so they get the same plane, and they ride it all the way from, I think they're in Chicago to Ireland. So it's kind of, they both live in Chicago, but they live on like opposite sides of Chicago, so they don't really get to meet up and hang out. So they kind of use it as like their once a year like get together and catch up. So but this year is different because there's a snowstorm, their flight gets canceled, and Molly can see how heartbroken Andrew is. Molly doesn't really care about Christmas that much, but Andrew loves Christmas and his family loves Christmas, and so he's just completely heartbroken.
Okay.
She sees that, and for some reason, her little Grinch heart grows. And she makes a promise to him that she is gonna get him home for Christmas no matter what. And
does she have magical powers?
Well, she has a lot of money because I guess she's a lawyer, so she has a shit ton of money, I guess. So she makes that promise to him, and the whole book is like if you want to call it a knockoff of the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's just them, whatever they need to do so she can get him home by Christmas.
All right.
So that's the book.
Okay.
Now my thoughts on this book. I had a couple. So like I mentioned, the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
I felt like they tried a little hard, or she tried, the author tried a little hard. It very closely resembled like the same type of things. I thought there was a lot of scenes, like not a lot, but there was a couple scenes where I was like, man, I felt like it was just there to add more to the book and just like more hoops for them to have to jump through to get home, right?
Okay.
If you read the book description says that they always take the last flight home before Christmas. I don't think that's totally true. The way I understand the book, they left, and it felt like in the book, and I'm pretty sure it took them like 2 or 3 days to get to Ireland from Chicago, just the route that they went, and they still made it there on time.
Yeah, so it's not the last flight.
So I wouldn't call it the last flight.
Yeah.
But it was, one of the last flights. So I was just kind of like, as I'm reading this, and they're like, oh, and then we can do this tomorrow, and then we can do this the next day, and then we'll be home for Christmas. I was like, how does time travel work again when you're flying east? I was like, how does that work?
The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not, it's one line in the description. It
Sure.
doesn't hurt the book. I had, when I was reading the book, I went back to the description and I was like, did I read this wrong? And
Yeah.
I didn't, but, so I really liked Molly and Andrew's chemistry.
Mhm.
I thought they were really cute together, but Molly is probably the main deterrent in the whole like romance thing.
Okay.
Every time Andrew tries to put the moves on her, she like freaks out and she keeps falling back on the, if we hook up, our friendship will be over if it doesn't work out. So she waffles a lot.
I understand the like aversion to that, but
Right.
at the same time, at some point, if he's putting the moves on you that much, your friendship is already it's already over, man, or it's already affected.
Yeah. I mean, she's just really back and forth. If you want to call it mixed signals,
Yeah.
you know, she's, you know, they're making out and then all of a sudden she's like pushing him away and she's like, no, we can't do this. I don't want us to not be friends anymore. And he's like, okay.
The line has already been crossed.
I guess we won't do this anymore then. And then, you know, 24 hours later, she's like kissing him again. And he's like, you know, so, yeah. But
I just had a Friends reference thought where he's like, he says, you're so far past the line is a dot to you. And that's what it sounds like. Yeah. They've already crossed the line so far that the line is not there.
Right. Yeah. So the supporting cast in this book is great. They play second, I think, half of the book or maybe the third of the book. They have a pretty big role because the first 2/3, if you want to call it, is this just them traveling to get home, and then the last third is them finally making it home. And so you get to see a lot of supporting characters, like her family and his family. I liked all of the characters, the supporting characters. Molly's sister was my absolute favorite. I wish the book would have been about Molly.
Is the second one?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think the book is worth reading just so you can get Molly's story because she's super funny and super cute. But yeah, in most romances, you have to have like a catalyst plot device and before you guys can live happily ever after. So there was one of those, and I don't know, it was just silly how like one of those things where, like I was saying, Molly just overreacts and takes off. She just does that again, freaks out, runs away, and then as she's like running away, realizes she's wrong and has to go back and make it up.
Of course.
So,
okay.
But yeah, it was a cute book. I gave it like 3-ish, 3.5, maybe.
Okay.
3 being the middle. 3 being completely average.
Okay.
Yes, 3 being completely average. I'll say 3-ish.
Okay.
Gelatos.
Excellent.
Yes. So, my next book, I read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say because I have seen this book all over the place and I have gone back and forth on whether or not I wanted to read it.
So, I got this one from Ethan as a Christmas gift.
Oh.
Like I was saying, we did Christmas early because we weren't 100% sure about how we would be, where we would be in the moving process. So we gave all our gifts already. So Ethan gave me this one.
Okay.
And I read it right away. So, because like you said, I've seen it everywhere. I think it was a pretty big book talk book. So this is the story of an orc, and her name is Viv, which I believe is short for Vivian, but everybody calls her Viv. And she wants to get out of the business of basically making war. So she doesn't want to live the orc life anymore, where like everybody thinks orcs are just there to like kill people and plunder and steal things and warmonger or whatever. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to live that life anymore. So she steals away from her group and she runs off and she settles in a new town and she opens a coffee shop.
Okay.
But nobody in the town that she lives in knows what coffee is.
Okay.
It does not exist. It does not exist in this town. So,
interesting.
Yes. So the whole book, a lot of the book is Viv trying her hand at running a small business.
Okay.
Specifically starting a coffee shop. So, she's opening buying a building and, buying her coffee maker comes in and hiring new staff and like stuff like that. There's also she has to deal with some locals, and of course her past does not stay in the past. So, but that's okay. Her friends are there to help her out.
Okay.
So, very cozy, very sweet, to the point I would say twee.
Oh.
Yeah,
I love it when we can bring that book back, or that word back.
Yeah, so very cozy, very quick read, very twee. There's nothing wrong with this book, minus it feels like nothing happens in the book.
I was waiting for a but. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, things are obviously happening.
Sure.
But it's just like,
if it's just a constant level of just like joy and happiness or like whatever, it just feels like nothing happens.
Right. It's just day to day. I don't want to call it monotony, but just like day to day things, Right. So, there's a few, if you want to say menacing characters, quote menacing characters, but they end up turning out to be just like teddy bears. Okay. And then there's one, if you want to say a big villain or the main villain, who does harm to Viv in the book, but it turns out to not be harm.
Okay.
So like something happens and it's devastating, but then it turns out that it wasn't. So, because she has friends. So,
okay. I was going to say villain light, basically.
Yes, exactly. That's perfect. Yeah. So like I said earlier, this was a pretty big book talk book. Mm-hmm. I think it might have gotten some overhype because of that. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a bad read. I would definitely not call it 5 stars. Like, I know a lot of people were putting like 5 stars out there. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to read, is just like a book where you're not going to have any drama, you're not going to have any stressful events, you're not going to have to wonder what happens. It's just a plain like twee, just everybody's happy in the end and everybody gets what they want. This is that book, but so I'd say probably the same as the last one. 3 middle of the road, 3 gelatos.
I think I'll say I'm happy I didn't read that one or didn't like pick it up at some point. Unless I was in their like right mood for it.
Yeah.
But now that I know like what you're saying it is, like if that's what I'm looking for, now I know where I can go.
Yes. I'd say that's pretty good for you. I would 100% say that too. If you were like, should I read it? It'd be like, if you want just a plain, like, even keeled read. So, yep. So that was my second book. And I then read a third book this week.
Okay.
So, I did not save it. I'm really excited to talk about this book. Okay. It's called The Hunter Killers by Dan Hampton. I actually listened to this book, and it's a history book. So the story begins in 1965 during the Vietnam War, when an F-4 is blown out of the sky by a weapon that no one has ever seen and no one knows how to combat. So, so this weapon is the Soviet SA-2 surface-to-air missile SAM.
Okay, great.
So yes, I'm saying it like it's a story, but this is history. This is a history book. So okay, so not knowing what to do, the government establishes a program called the Wild Weasel Program, and that program's main goal is to figure out how to take down the SAMs and neutralize that threat. So this program is basically a group of crazy ass pilots, electronic warfare officers, and they're highly specialized aircraft, and they are taking these specialized aircraft across the DMZ, and they're basically poking at North Korea to see if they can get them to fire their SAMs at them, so that way they can do the counter.
They can test their stuff,
right? So they could test all their stuff and see if they can get the technology to, basically, so that way it doesn't take them going out there and provoking. Future aircraft can go out there and see the threat before it happens. Right. Because I think they said that, like, at the beginning of the conflict, they had like a 50%, like the first few weeks or months that this happened before the wild weasels showed up, like 50% of aircraft that went in there and didn't make it back because they were being shot down. That's how accurate, if you want to call it, or these SAMs were. So, my thoughts. This book was a fantastic book. Okay. I loved this book. Okay. So it has all the aspects of history that I love. I would say it's equal parts dry history, in-person accounts, and technical history. Okay. So, the three main things of history, I guess, or three main ways to tell history. Okay. So I will say that I recognize this next part. I want to take it into account with my rating, but I also don't care. So this is the part that I recognize about myself, is I have limited knowledge of the Vietnam War. It's not something that I have, like, I've read a lot of books about or anything like that. So there's a lot of Vietnam War backstory, Cold War backstory, policy, thing. So I didn't find it overdone because I didn't know anything about that, but it is easily at least a third of the book. So if you already know all of this, I can see that being a bummer. Okay. Just the amount of policy and backstory and what the president was doing in Congress and, what their thoughts were and stuff like that. Right. So I can see that as being, if you're already familiar, I can see that being like a downer. So the second part, the highly technical part, is another third of the book. It is talking about the technology and how the aircraft were modified to look into this threat and how they were modified for their mission set and stuff like that. And then the last third is easily the best part. It's the first-hand accounts by the pilots who were in the missions themselves.
That's really cool.
Yes, and it was great. So it's not told in third. Each chapter is like a different, like there's like policy and then technology and then like pilot accounts, and sometimes it's different, but the chapters all kind of make sense in there. So it was a great book. I really enjoyed it. Also, Dan Hampton, who wrote the book, the author, was a wild weasel pilot. So not in the Vietnam War. He flew F-16s in the Wild Weasel Project later on, but so it lended like extra credit, and I think the pilot stories were probably a little bit better because of it. Yeah. So that was really great. And then the narrator was spot on as well. Good. He was amazing. So there's a couple spots in the book where he's explaining the pilot's point of view, and he's talking about like how they're like lining up the gun sight, and every time he goes, he's like, and then I pulled the trigger. Burp. So he does it way better than I do, but he did a really great job. So I thought...
I just want you to make that noise all the time.
Just while we're sitting there, like, bah! So,
why, Nicole? Are you being an airplane right now, shooting something down?
maybe. So it was great. It was a good book. So, like I said earlier when I was talking about how I was going to rate this, recognizing that policy and stuff like that is not everybody's favorite history, and it's probably not enjoyable to hear it all again because it's probably really low level history that I should know. I thought about taking away from the book a little bit, but I didn't even, like I said, I didn't care. I really liked it. Okay. I gave this book a 5.
Yay!
So 5 gelatos. I think it's my only history book this year to get 5 gelatos or 5 anything. So I'm happy to report that this is my number 1 history book this year. Yeah.
Can I tell you, I love how you explain them, because you explain them that like they're just a story. Because otherwise I'd be like, what are you talking about, Nicole? So I enjoy how you tell me about them.
Awesome. Great. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, should I be explaining it like this? So
I will tell you, it does not make me want to read it. It makes me want to watch a documentary about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it does not make me want to read it. But it does make me at least intrigued and like understand what you were saying or what you were reading. But I think I would fall asleep if I tried to like listen to it or read it.
Until you heard him go.
Exactly. Until I heard him act like an airplane.
You wake up.
Okay, fair. I'm very excited for your 5-star history book. Are you ready for our discussion question?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
I forgot about discussion questions.
This is from a listener. Are you ready?
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
As a what was it? It was an email. I was like, what the hell did we get? We got an email from a listener who asked, what is your favorite reading location? And I want to point out that they specifically asked, as like an example, the beach, the couch, a hammock.
I immediately, it was like my house.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
This chair. So those were some examples that we were given by this listener. So what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite reading location?
My house. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never thought of that. I mean, I have a chair in my house that I sit in more frequently than anywhere else. But usually I would say I'm usually wherever I am, I'm usually under a blanket, regardless of season. And I have a puppy in my lap. Okay. And I may or may not have like an alcoholic beverage
adult beverage.
Thank you. And or I might have like a tasty snack or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be my first thing. That's my first thought.
I think mine too is just somewhere, not necessarily like a specific location, but I feel like it's kind of the same for me. Like if it's somewhere that I can like sit and be cozy with a blanket and like just whatever I would need around me, like a snack or something to drink or whatever it is, like that's really what I want it to be. Because like the beach, I think, is one of those things that's like really cool in theory to be like, oh, I'm gonna go read on the beach, but then I'm on the beach and then I'm just like, I have sand everywhere, and then I'm worried about like, did I put on enough sunscreen? Do I have enough? Like I just can't, like I feel like I can't focus as much. And so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a couple places that are kind of like that, where in theory they're better than they actually are.
Yeah. So this year when I went to Jamaica with my mom, I did take the Kindle that you let me borrow or have, because you have 100 of them, because it was the one that like has no reflection or whatever. So I did take that, and I think I read on the beach. I made it a point to try reading on the beach because I don't think that's anything I've ever done, and I feel like I enjoyed it. But maybe it was because it was like Jamaica and it was like 80, and so it was just like sunshine and I was warm, so it was like being under a blanket. I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I don't know that it's something that I would do.
It's like, not like a thing that I'm like, I have to go somewhere to read on the beach. Yeah. It's I think so. I think my answer is just wherever I can be cozy. I like to be cozy.
Yeah. I was trying to think, I was like, do I have an outside spot that I like to read? Like, is that a thing for me?
I was just thinking because of yesterday, I think the airport might be, I can really push through some books when I'm in the airport.
There you go. Yeah. I know I got a canvas, one of those canvas chairs from Mike I think it was from Mike for Christmas or my birthday one year or something. And we have it hung up under one of the trees, like the only tree in our yard big enough to support this thing. And it's not in a very advantageous location because it's like right next to the driveway. So it's not like I don't sit there and I have like a beautiful view or anything like that, but it is at the cabin and it is under a pine tree. So it's always shady.
Okay.
And the canvas chair is nice. It's like a little hammock, which is
kind of,
you know, but I also recognize that if I sit in that chair, I will have a puppy in my lap.
That's right.
So there's not like a huge amount of room unless I'm reading on my phone or something like that. So I don't know. I don't think I'm an outside reader, but maybe I just haven't found the spot.
I think that's it for me too. I feel like when I'm outside, I tend to like my brain tends to start focusing on like the elements and like things around me, how I'm feeling. So like, am I getting sweaty? Am I like all of those things? I start focusing on all that and I can't focus on what I'm reading. Yeah.
I've taken books out on like our pontoon boat before, and I enjoy reading on the pontoon boat when I'm underneath the canvas cover or whatever, but I also don't feel like I get to read a lot on the boat because we're never sitting in one spot for very long. There's always people who want to come out on the boat with you, so it's not like you're by yourself. You kind of have to like be recognized that they're social. Yes, I have to be social. I didn't even know the word. No, I'm just joking. So I don't know. Yeah.
So it sounds like we're both homebody readers with a blanket.
Yeah.
All right.
Blankets and puppies and snacks.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, maybe that'll be my goal for this year, is to find the perfect reading spot. All right. To be one of my goals.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
We will be discussing all of these goals in our end of year episode.
Yes.
That will, I hope, comes out on January 1st.
I believe.
Okay. You believe in us?
I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. And while we're at it, that should be our first video podcast. Is the end of year episode that comes out on January 1st. We are going to start doing video versions of the podcast. So we will let you know. We'll post everything and let you know when it's on YouTube and all of that. But wish us luck and hope that you guys will enjoy having this on video as well. Yes.
And you'll get to see Vanessa's bangs.
If they're still around in 2 weeks. So yes, reach out to us on Instagram at Save the Story Pod, or on our email, savethestorypod.com, and go to our contact form and let us know what your favorite reading location is, as well as any other things that you have, book recommendations, thoughts on books that we've read, all the things, snacks, whatever you want to send us, do it. We will love it. We will be so gratefully happy. That's not a thing, but that's what we'll be.
I thought you were going to say gratefully grateful.
Gratefully grateful.
Nice.
So yes, do that. And give us 5 stars. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Give us 5 stars. Give us comments. Share it with your
Thumbs
friends.
ups.
Tell everybody you know to come and read books with us. And that's it.
I know. I'm going to have to think of some really crazy goals for next year so we can get people in.
Yes.
Like crazy reading goals.
I don't know if I have any crazy ones, but I have set some challenges for myself. So be ready.
Did you see that one on one of our videos, that one somebody who was like, I've read 200 books this year?
Yes.
I almost spit out my drink when I saw that.
Yes.
I was like, how is that even possible?
I did see that. And she said it so they said it, I don't remember who it was, but they said it so nonchalantly, like, I've read 200. So I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I have to do the math on this, and I'm doing it right now as I talk. That's 3.8 books a week.
Oh my goodness.
Basically
4 books a week. Steady 4 books a week. Like, I could do that once or twice, but every week, they've got it. They are
they're winning.
I will not be setting a goal like that.
No. So
yes. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening, and come back and find out what we read later, next time. Whatever.
Yes, next time you hear us.
Yes. Okay.
All right, bye. Get out of here.